way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jet is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Good morning. This is the No Way Jose podcast. You are watching The Morning Dump, and this is today's host, Jose Galison. Austin was supposed to join us, but he didn't make it. I don't know exactly what's going on. He might make it later in the stream, is what he said. So who knows? Maybe if he shows up right at the end, maybe I can just pass it off to him. We can do a super stream. I know you guys liked it when Austin did a 3-hour stream not too long ago. So hey, I'm all for it. I'm not sitting for 3 hours though. But if Austin wants to, or if we're able to extend it in that way, that's cool. But I don't know. Maybe in the future, if you guys ante up, pay up big time. But aside from that, I got shit to do. I don't know. I mean, I can only talk for so long, anyways. All right, we got Doc Tori joining us today. What's up? It's up, Tar. It's got JMS in the chat. Arcane talking about going over to NDS over here in a little bit. Yeah, you got a little bit of an hour with me and then over in NDS. Yeah, that's sounds like quite the plan. I dig those fellas over there. Got Cats on Holiday joining us today. Murder, Death, Kill, one of my favorite names. Kim's barely here. Tyler. I'll be joining him tonight on Tower Gang. So if you guys dig that, Ray in here, and then JMS talking about Kamala pooping. I struggled to think of a thumbnail for today, but I went with Kamala, and the reasoning being is the Governor Shapiro one. I know it's a loose connection, but Governor Shapiro, because that was the pick she initially was really eyeing for her VP pick initially, and then it ended up going with Walls or whatever I think his name's Walls. But yeah, Shapiro was the first one that there was. I don't know. There was conspiracy. There was people saying shit at the time. There was controversy is the word I was looking for. There was controversy about his stuff with the Ellen Greenberg death, and then also, let's be real, somewhat his last name, and considering the ongoing Gaza stuff at the time, left a bad taste in the mouth for Democratic voters. So they decided against him. But apparently it's come around now that supposedly he had some sort of hand in the assassination. We will go into the details of that, see if that's bullshit, which, let's be real, I'm kind of leaning towards it is. Or if it's legit. Who knows? I mean, I won't be surprised these powerful people were doing some sort of shit like that. But while we wait for more of y'all to roll in, I do want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, pay the bills. I do want to remind you guys this episode is brought to you by our friends over at Nadeau Shave Co. If you're tired of that razor burn irritation, those ingrown hairs that come from those multi-blade cartridges, then this is the way to go. You don't need expensive bullshit. You can shave just like your grandpa used to. Whether you're shaving your entire face or edging up the beard, the single blades give you a barber-grade shave for a fraction of the price. The standard issue includes one traditional safety razor, as pictured here, and a box of 100 stainless steel razor blades. That puts you out about $75. The estimate's to last you for a year. Let's be real. That's going to last you a lot longer, unless you're someone who shaves on the reg. If you're shaving daily or almost daily, you're going to want to consider looking into the Quarter Shave Club. That puts you about 25 cents per replacement blade. He's also got shave lathers, 3-in-1 body hair and face soaps. This is a COVID mandate refusing company as well. So to recap, this is a better product. It is a cheaper product. It's from a company that doesn't hate you. And on top of all of that, as if it couldn't get any better, you can use code Jose for 10%. Use code Jose for 10% off your entire order at checkout. All right, guys, let's get back into it. Let's get into the chat, see what you see, who all's popped in. Oh, hey, say what now? We got you in here now, too. We got a party. All right, let's get into some actual content. Give me a second. Let me bring up this tab. I did want to take a second to correct the record on something I said last night, although I did very much couch it in like I'm not sure. I said last night, actually, this is the wrong one. Here we go. This one instead. I said something about this, the Anna Paulina Luna, who was that chick we watched on last night on Already Dead. We watched this video of her talking to people about a task force that's being put together for, I don't know, all the fucking conspiracies, basically. I said, I was like, as we were talking about, I'm like, isn't that, I vaguely recall that name. I was like, is that not the name from when we had William on and we talked about the Knights of Malta? Like, is she not the one who's like a dad who's like a big with the Knights of Malta? I was wrong. That's Alina Haba. So as you can see here, this is Alina Haba. Her dad is a big Knights of Malta guy. So that is who I was thinking of. That's it. That's his lawyer. But I got that wrong. So I just want to take a section and correct that while we go into here. Here's Anna Paulina Luna. I just thought it was interesting, considering our conversation last night, me and Austin, and kind of the idea of like, why don't they just release the information? Like, what the fuck? Just release the documents. I mean, I can understand some people being like, hey, we need clerks or whoever to go through this and verify certain information to, make sure that like, hey, this person, there aren't people that are still operational that are in these documents or whatever. Sure, whatever. But for the most part, this does seem like a big old dog and pony show. So I just thought this was kind of funny. Pay attention to those with large followings arguing against declassification or attempting to undermine efforts. These are bad actors. They exist on both sides. The latter one is what made me think the attempting to undermine efforts. I think it might be saying the naysayers, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is something to come with this. POTUS declassified, meaning it will be available publicly to all of you very soon. So that's encouraging. I'll give you that. So theoretically, we're releasing, although I don't really know what the purpose of her and her supposed task force is, if we're getting the information anyways. Like, what do we need you for? You're a weird middleman entity that serves no purpose to me. We will be conducting investigations and deep diving into new info. So I guess they're there to, kind of bring us along in their investigation with the new information that comes out. I mean, we've got plenty of investigators out in the world. I really do not need people in the White House. All I want is all of this information. Say, for example, JFK. Like, we've had the Solving JFK guy. For some reason, I can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. Matt Crumpton. I've had him on before. I mean, if they dropped all the shit, I mean, give it a month, I'd probably be having him on the show, and we'd be covering all the stuff. He'd probably be covering on his show within a week or whatever. So, he'd be parsing through all that information. There's no real need for these people. So, I mean, I don't know if there's something that they can do that we can't. I struggle to understand. Maybe you guys can chime off in the comments if you can see any reason for this. And see, the American people deserve transparency. We will be using every avenue to get this to you guys. Now, I will say, assuming that they are actually on our side in the sense of trying to get information out, which that is a huge assumption to make, then that is one place where I guess their power, these people being congressmen or lawyers or people kind of empowered by the government to some extent, where maybe they'll be able to get some things done. They can kind of maybe force transparency. Let's be real, though. It's just as likely that it could be the exact opposite. And this is D. Do your own research into the declassified records. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And I'll agree on D. D kind of makes it so we don't need A, B, and C. Or actually B and C. Just we don't need you. I don't know. I struggle to understand the purpose of a task force. So, all right, let's pop in the chat, see what you guys have to say. I got snow day over for Kim. Hell yeah, dude. Then we go, let me see. Oh, Tyler said order 2 blades and use your promo code. Hey, still waiting on blades? No, you got those blades super quick. Don't say that. Well, I'm glad you used the promo code, though. We got pierogi. We got an X person here. We don't hardly ever see those. I do stream these 2X for those who like to watch on X. Murder Death Kill says, me thinks the government Shapiro story is designed to deconstruct any counter-authoritative narrative or delegitimize alternative media as a source of viable info. Yes, that's exactly the vibe I've gotten from this before really digging into it, is that this is slop for the conservatives to go, ooh, look, Governor Shapiro, this Democratic actor you guys don't like, he was almost a VP pick. Look what he did. And it's kind of like, kind of tempting the right wing to like jump on it. There's been a lot of people who did jump on it. I believe Sean Ryan jumped on it. I believe there were a few people that were kind of like I mean, either you're some sort of a negative actor or a retard or some combination of the two. There were definitely those out there that were jumping on this one. So this does feel like a slop for the masses. So the rightoids will go, oh my God, and jump on it and then look retarded and kind of, kind of distract away from other stuff. With that said, I need to have Ken back on the show. We've done 2 episodes already on the assassination stuff, but there still seems to be there's a lot of stuff going on with that. Like he's still pursuing that story hard. So I think there's a lot of stuff that maybe we just is kind of getting left to the wayside since I've been covering other things. So I know you guys let me know if you wanted me to do that. I got a few days. Maybe I can nab them this weekend and do a bonus episode for you guys or something. All right. Let me see. So basically, Mossad took out JFK to protect the British colony in the Middle East. Perhaps I will say with the JFK one, I know a lot of people like to point to Israel, but really, there are so many enemies he had. Credible enemies, and so it really could be any one of them or all of them. So I don't know. So yeah, Ken's been exposing as an attempted hoax. Yes, that's what we will get into. All right, let's cover some more. Now, while this Luna broad is not maybe the scary spook that I implied yesterday and already dead as a possibility because I got the names wrong, but I found this was interesting. Anya Parampil, which usually has some pretty good takes. She's a bit of a lefty though, but she's pretty good in foreign policy type stuff. I think she's a lefty at least. I don't know a ton about her. That's just kind of my perspective from the little bits I've seen. She's just discovered that real Anna Paulina's name isn't really Luna. Her maiden name is Meyerhofer, and her husband's name is Gamberski. She made up Luna to seem more Latina while also pretending to be Jewish. Her grandfather was in the Wehrmacht. but sure, trust a schizo to bring us the truth. Okay, I find that interesting. I mean, I don't know, whatever. These people change names, but I don't know. I thought that was a fun one that you guys might get a kick out of. All right, here's our guest that we had on the current Vegas series, which, by the way, shameless plug for those who want to support, $2, and you can check out episode 2 right now. That won't drop till Friday, but it is available right now up on the Patreon. It's available in audio and video, so whichever one you prefer, and ad free. So. But yeah, no, I thought this was interesting. This is a biggest shitter. I guess this is something I'm assuming maybe found from kind of his digging more into this. Just to let you guys know, the second episode we just covered, we went into the timeline leading up to the shooting. So we're kind of taking this, step by step, going formulaic with it in a good way, so that way we can cover all the bases. So I think this will be good in the long run. But either way, he said just 3 days before committing the largest shooting in U.S. history, Stephen Paddock would stop at a local senior center to ask about a recipe for enchiladas. I just thought this was a funny one. So it says, we recognize, this is an excerpt from some article, we recognize Stephen when his face flashed up on TV, said local resident Marshall Meeland, 78, who was enjoying lunch at the center. He last came to the center around 11 a.m. last Thursday and checked into the desk, but didn't stop for lunch like he usually does. Instead, he went straight up to the counter to speak with the cook and ask her about an enchiladas dish she cooks. He wanted to know how she made it, Milan told the outlet. After that, he left. No one took any notice of him. It wasn't until later, after he did that we realized he drove to Vegas that afternoon. Everyone in the center is shocked. So yeah, I know it's just bizarre. So he just went to some weird senior center days before, and I guess it sounds like he was a regular for some reason. So it's just more of an example of what a bizarre guy this was, which that is one thing that really came to the fore, talking about the timeline leading up. A lot of weird shit that happened in the Vegas thing prior, specifically with Paddock and following his movements before. I think it was a couple months or a month and a half, or maybe even about a month prior, he wired over $150,000 to Thailand, I think. Yeah, Thailand. Or no, Philippines. I always mix the two up. One of the two, either way. To his old lady over there, under the auspices of to buy a house over there. But either way, it's just dude, there's a lot of weird shit with this, which I'm sure we'll get into more in the next episode. Let's pop back over to see what you guys have to say. He's making plans for the future. What, to make enchiladas? I don't know. Is she married to Max Blumenthal? Maybe. I don't know. That would make sense. Enchiladas cartel connection confirmed, says Tyler. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's just bizarre. If anything, I think it just points more to like maybe some sort of MK Ultra. Like what? It just seems like a bizarre thing to do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, really can't really get much deeper than that. It just is odd. There's a lot of odd stuff that is really hard to even describe as to add to some sort of spook theory. There's just a lot of weird shit with that story. Mike says Ken had a pretty good thread on X yesterday theorizing that the female Secret Service agents at the Trump shooting were there on purpose, not just incompetency to take the blame. Perhaps. That or it was a convenient excuse. Either way, it did, once again, kind of as, there's kind of a parallel here with the whole Shapiro thing. And with this, it's like the slop that you're thrown. You're like, oh, look, here's a Democratic actor. And we're going to give you dubious claims that he was involved in this, the attempt on your, God, King, Emperor. So it's like, it makes sense. But this one is the different thing. It's like, oh, look, chick Secret Service members. You guys see that? You see that? Like, ooh, I wonder if they were black. I bet you they really fucking suck. Like it's kind of that. It's playing to the DEI. Ooh, like affirmative action. Like, which don't get me wrong, I'm against all of those things, and I think those are. While there is truth to the idea that like that does lower standards, that sort of mentality in any sort of entity, this idea that we're going to hire based on immutable characteristics as opposed to abilities in whatever the given job field is, but at the same time it is also becomes this low hanging fruit that you can people poke at it and will be like, oh my God, look, you can have more nefarious things going under the surface that you allow yourself to just write it off as like, well, her black chicks or something, not to say there isn't truth to the fact that like, hey, you should maybe hire someone if they're good at flying planes, regardless of whether they're a black chick or not. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It does kind of feel like that a little bit. I wonder what group that Shapiro guy belongs to, says Death. Yeah. All right. Does this sound like a man who the 100% outcome is death? Pull it off. Is 100% with who the 100% outcome is death? Pull it off. And the way you worded that was weird, but no, I think I get what you're saying. Like, it doesn't sound like a man who's ready to die. It means he's getting ready to make some enchiladas. Although he could have been just trying to strike up conversation for one reason or another. Trying to meet somebody. There's many probably other explanations you could come up with. It's just bizarre. All right. Here is one from Mario Nafal. Here it is. Bombshell emails reveal Biden White House orchestrated Trump document case from day one. So all right, we'll be the judge of that. Once again, this is real raw. This is first digging into it. So I saw a clickbaity article or a thingy, a tweet, and I figured we'll go through it together. Fresh emails from the National Archives. NARA expose a disturbing truth. The classified documents case against Trump wasn't a spontaneous investigation. It was a carefully orchestrated political operation directed from the White House months before the official story began. While NARA and special counsel Jack Smith claimed the investigation started in February 2022, newly released communications show Biden's team was pulling strings as early as summer 2021. Okay. Despite Mara being close to resolution with Trump's team, they were secretly drafting letters to the Attorney General and coordinating with Biden's White House counsel. Most damning, when direct DOJ involvement proved too obvious, Biden's deputy White House counsel created a backdoor through a special access request, a clever workaround to gain access to Trump's records. Okay, so all right. A Mar-a-Lago raid wasn't about national security. These emails suggest it was about weaponizing federal agencies against a political opponent. This isn't just government overreach; it's government deception. Okay. They special access request. All right, let's read this thing. These documents. See if we can see what they're getting at here. Now we see from Gary Stem, this is on 9/15/2021, to Deborah Wall, CCing David Ferrero and William Basenko. Basenko sounds from subject R or subject response. Trump boxes. So this is about the Trump boxes. I'm assuming these are probably, it says, these are all at nara.gov ones. So these are NARA people, I guess. Which, what did we just say that was? That was, NARA was the National Archives, is what that is, I guess. Okay. I'm assuming maybe they hold on to the information for the courts or something. Assuming you shouldn't be able to get access to it is the point. I guess this is where we're getting into the back door that they worked on. It says, correct, we cannot go to DOJ while we are engaged in ongoing discussions with the White House and the Trump reps, which could help to clarify, if not actually resolve the issue. White House and the Trump reps. We can address the social media issues on a separate track, which we should do in parallel with two related actions. One, responding to the January 6th committee's request for Trump January 6 tweets, and two, our plans to post in early October the Trump social media PRA records that we did receive from the White House. Thanks, Gary. And then they shows the previous email below. I probably should have read that first. My bad, because I didn't realize. I'm sorry. I forget how emails work. It shows the ones on the bottom first. It would have made more sense for you guys doing this a little backwards. So, all right, the original email. So that means we were holding off on a DOJ letter. What about Congress, re the social media issues? Thanks. That's Deborah Wall that said that. And then Gary said again, the call took place last week, which served to get Deputy White House Counsel Jonathan Sue up to speed on the issue. Okay, all right, now we're cooking. That sounds like, okay, now we're getting into some unsavory territory. And dispute over whether there are 12 or 24 boxes. This week, Jonathan told me that they are open to having redacted, participate in a meeting with redacted and possibly redacted, the former staff secretary who was redacted, principal source. Currently, they need access to redacted notes from the last administration, which we now hold, so they will be making a special access request. Okay, so, all right, I guess we're seeing, obviously it's kind of hard to tell the specifics of what the hell is going on, but it sounds to me, it seems pretty clear that, yeah, okay, maybe they're onto something. It looks like they were trying to make some sort of backdoor to get some sort of information. Maybe there's some sort of way to explain this that's not, negative for them on their part, because, it's kind of, I don't know, trying to decipher what the fuck is even going on here is a bit of a task. So, but it does seem like, it seems like they might be onto something here. Huh. All right, let's pop in the chat, see what you guys think. All right. By the way, I can find no evidence of any kinds that Anna Paulina Luna is using a fake name. She has U.S. Air Force service records, says Doctori. Huh. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I feel like that'd be a weird thing for her to lie about, considering I believe she's a gray zone news person. So I know that's kind of, but maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe it's bullshit. We'll find out. All right, we got a Sky High popping in here. All right, let's get into the next story. This is from one of you guys. It's actually from Doctori, saying this is crazy stuff. I'm pretty sure this might be something we end up covering on Tower Gang tonight, but let's go through it with you guys together. Now we'll recover a little bit more serious and a less pee-pee poo-poo, less goofy goof, more like, oh, let's actually be serious about this and analyze how fucked up this is, as opposed to the awful fucked up humor that is obviously here. Here is, for mostly peaceful memes, is Colorado teacher arrested for having sex with special needs student, giving them fentanyl and telling them to murder another teacher. What the fuck is going on in public schools? Obviously on his face, just awful. I don't know if there's really anything, for us to pull out of here, but let's read some of these things and see. Maybe there's something, I don't know, you never know, some sort of conspiratorial angle here. A teacher had sexual relationship with special needs student, asked him to bring a gun to school to shoot colleague. This is a New York Post, just showing the thing. There's the broad. Okay, it's a little wild. Okie dokie. It's always weird. It's never really like a hideous chick. It seems to never be a hideous. It's either like a really, really hideous chick or like a kind of pretty. I'm not saying she's like beautiful, but she's kind of pretty. So I'm like, what the hell are you doing banging kids, you weirdo? All right. He's a twisted Colorado teacher who started a sick relationship with special needs students, sent thousands of messages to him, ordered the child to bring a gun to class to shoot her colleague, and introduce him to fentanyl, the prosecutor said. It's nuts. Imagine Kay Ewer, a paraprofessional, was busted. Imagine. Oh, I thought they were asking me to imagine. Her name is Imagine? Okay. All right. Now maybe it's starting to click. What an awful name. Imagine. Like, I hope their parents didn't name that, and she's just some fucking weirdo who changed her name to that. Because, all right. Anyways, that's confusing to use that name because I was literally like in my head, like, what am I imagining? This makes no sense. And then I had to go back. Oh, her name is literally Imagine. Okay, Imagine KU, or a paraprofessional, was busted after officials noticed her obvious favoritism toward the 16-year-old boy, according to the First Judicial District Attorney's Office in Lakewood, Colorado. Ewer, 28, showed an unhealthy interest in her student that was noticed almost immediately after she started working at Brady Exploration School in August 2023, the DA's office investigation revealed. I would kind of like to know how this was noticed, because I feel like the way they're saying it was very overt. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of messages were sent to Ewer by her student and vice versa, with references to many sexual encounters, according to prosecutors. Ewer introduces teenager to illegal and deadly drugs, including fentanyl. First Judicial District Attorney's Office Special Victims Prosecutor Bryn Chase told her sentencing hearing. She also attempted to get the boy to bring a gun to their sexual encounters, as well as shoot a fellow faculty member in their school, the sentencing hearing heard. Ewer told the boy to bring the gun to school and shoot another faculty members in the leg, Chase said at the hearing. I don't know, maybe it was a joke. Who knows? All right, yeah, I mean, that's not cool. But yeah, I don't know, Dr. Roy, if there's anything in there that you specifically thought was interesting about it, but yeah, it's definitely going to be something we make some laughs about tonight. But I think, if I recall correctly, this might be the one where they had the kid that said, I regret nothing, and was like trying to argue to get her out or whatever. It was kind of like, I did it. So obviously that's the comedic angle there. Ray saying, I remember all my teachers in public school because they made me have sex with them. That's why I dropped out and got my GED. Wait, are you being for real? You what the hell? Is this a thing? I mean, am I just too old? Is this just a thing now? Is everyone banging their teachers? Okay, all right. The details set off my pattern recognition for the online terror cults. I will give you that. That's why I was like, are there components here? Okay, me and you are on the same page here then. Okay, I definitely see this and I'm like, I feel like maybe there's some more weird stuff going on, but I don't know, because I mean, the drugs, the introducing violence, trying to kill people, but it also could just be some sick whore. I mean, it could just be as simple as that. All right, here's on to the next one. Here is from Tejas Bio. I think is his name. He is a follower show. So just a big old shout out to when you guys tag us, because I do want to remind you guys that you guys somewhat create this show. Pretty much about roughly 80 to 90% of the time you guys tag me stuff, I bring it up on the show. So here we are. He recommended this, and this is a lawyer's perspective on the DOGE stuff. This is like a week old, but I think it might be good to kind of look at to, kind of get a different perspective on it, from a more of a structural perspective on the DOGE side of things. So, all right, 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, Dr. Roy says that violence mixed with sex and drugs and given orders to commit violence. Yes, exactly. I felt that as well. I didn't see if there was more there, so that's why I was kind of like, is there something I missed here? But unfortunately, I didn't. I guess unfortunately or fortunately, I didn't see anything more. So maybe it was just some crazy horror, or maybe we're missing some detail in the story. All right, DOGE, a lawyer's perspective on the Elon Musk Donald Trump policy centerpiece. Oh crap! I accidentally clicked on the wrong thing. All right, I inherently do not trust the media, so I decided to look into DOGE myself and see what is under the hood. Initially, I was quite concerned about the legality of a new agency created by executive order, but that, just like everything else, is a lie put out by the mainstream. The order is here and the thread is below. So here's the order. I'm not going to read it because, he's kind of explaining it to us here, so why would I do that? To understand anything the government does, it's usually best to start with the law or something else I might be able to sue over. In this case, the executive order itself was the thing to see. As you can see, this document is barely 2 pages and certainly not written in legalese. While not a complicated read, the plan was brilliant. Trump did not actually create a new agency. Instead, what he did was repurpose an existing agency, the USDS, into something more useful. So, all right, let's click on this. So it says Section 3, DOGE structure, reorganization and renaming of the United States Digital Service. The United States Digital Service is hereby publicly renamed as the United States DOGE Service. USDS, so it's still keeping the acronym, and shall be established in the Executive Office of the Presidency. So technically, okay, now we know DOGE. DOGE's actual acronym is USDS, so which is confusing. You have DOGE, because DOGE itself is kind of an acronym, so whatever. So either way, now that is the USDS. I know that's confusing. You literally have a acronym within an acronym. That's kind of like when someone says a FOIA request, because it's like a Freedom of Information Act. No, I'm retarded. No, I'm thinking of something. There's something else I'm thinking of. No, if somebody said FOIA Act, because that's Freedom of Information Act. You know what I mean? If you said FOIA Act, that's kind of what it feels like when you say DOGE inside of it, because it's like DOGE is describing the entity, then you give it another name of US DOGE, I don't know, whatever. I think that's more just it's like cut out within the hierarchy. So I don't think that, I think it'll still be referred to as DOGE. I don't think anyone's going to really refer to it as USDS, but that's beside the point. The USDS was an Obamacare office created to make government software better. They were essentially software development for the bureaucracy. Trump renamed the USDS the United States DOGE Service, which even kept the acronym the same. Not only did repurposing an appropriate existing department allow Trump to ensure there was funding for DOGE without having to fight with Congress, he also ensured its legality. You see, Trump has power to set priorities for executive branch departments, but there are limits. In the case of DOGE, Trump clearly had a team of lawyers looking for ways to accomplish this goal legally. USDS was already there and funded for the specific purposes. 44 USCS Chapter 36 is the law that facilitates much of USDS. It is generally about developing tech for the government. This means that focusing on efficiency and evaluating the entire government through the lens of the IT that runs it is not really substantially altering the agency, just its focus. I'm not going to read that one there. At the same time, Trump also wanted to bring in Elon Musk, and at the same time, Vivek Ramaswamy and his team for an initial major audit/clean sweep. To do this, Trump referenced another law, 5 U.S.C. 3161. This law governs the creation of and staffing of what is known as a temporary organization in the government. This group will focus on pushing the DOGE agenda and will exist for 18 months, though their work will survive. By including this group as temporary, Trump dodged several potential lawsuits, as he may not have been able to create his own new administrative entity on a permanent basis without congressional approval. Okay, because that is a common thing I've been hearing a lot. It's a lot of people saying, we need congressional approval. And I'm like, I don't know the specifics on what to create entities or whatever, but it sounds like, obviously the kind of the workaround here is they didn't really create a new agency. It's the same agency. They just repurposed it. So, which I'm assuming the USDS was probably, I don't think we went into it, was probably likely had some sort of executive orders to begin with, if I had to make some sort of assumption. So probably the idea being that they were able to executive order it another way or whatever. And I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, executive orders are they're not really supposed to be these sweeping changes that happen. The idea is, from my understanding, is the executive order is essentially supposed to be essentially like a way to specify. We have Tyler in the chat, so he probably can. He's probably cringing, or he can give a better explanation. But the idea is that it's supposed to give better. Like, let's say there's some sort of law or entity that's doing something, and it's up in the air what exactly it's supposed to be doing. Per government guidelines. Now, an executive order can come down to clarify this is what. Like in lieu of having specifically knowing what to do in this exact scenario, or how this entity is supposed to operate. This is what our executive at the executive level, we're making the determination. This is how it operates. So so. With that though, you can kind of see how someone can kind of do a lot with that if you expand the idea of what that's supposed to be. I don't know, but either way, interesting. So that he's repurposing it. All right. Trump also ordered that DOGE teams be hired in every administrative branch agency. These teams are to include a team lead, a lawyer, an HR person, and an engineer. These teams work for USDS, DOGE, but work with and within various agencies. While all of this is part of a software modernization initiative, looking at the software and how things are managed is a great way to find out where there is waste, particularly when part of the mandate is to ensure efficiency. So, okay. All right, let me pop in the chat, see if anything you guys have to say. Figured maybe there's a bunch. Jose, what's popping? What's up, Q-Bert? What it do? People act like DOGE is doing the actual firing. From what it seems like DOGE is just consulting. Yeah, as I've said multiple times on the show now already, it's basically like really all that's been happening is Elon makes a hubbub about something and makes it really, really, really public and keeps nagging about it, and then probably comes to Trump or somebody within the government goes, hey, you guys should look into dialing this back. Now you've made it unpopular, and you've also created a perception of a administration buy-in. So it's kind of like, it's kind of a hop, skip, and a jump to whatever you want to be at that point, to gutting whatever thing, so I don't know, kind of a winning formula, it seems like. But yeah, but point being is, yeah, they're not doing the firing. It doesn't seem like they're doing any of that shit at all. So, I'm pretty sure it's all bullshit. They've been fucking this, but this is all pure theater. I don't think the deep state lackeys would be so butthurt if it wasn't making an impact. I think you're probably right. Generally speaking, when they're butthurt, I mean, sometimes I do think they pretend to be butthurt, so it's kind of like it's hard to tell. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah. Hey, what's up? Robin's in the chat. There we got Screwed Up Rebellion says in '94, Bill Clinton signed the Federal Workforce Restructuring Act, offering buyouts to thousands of federal employees. Well, hell yeah, dude, fucking dope. That was good then. Government Accountability Office has been around for decades. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it sounds like these are different offices, but with similar purposes. So, all right. Bug Fights is in here. What's up? All right. Let's get back into this. The last part of the post is all important boilerplate. Trump orders all agencies to support the DOGE initiative, disclaims any other prior EOs that would interfere with this order, and makes a conflict of laws statement. This was further insulation to make this harder for political opponents to fight in court. Last point. I don't like this has to be done and think the executive branch has far more authority than they should. That said, this order was very well done, and Trump and Musk have really done a good job strategically here. Here's to hoping these guys fall through on the Maha mandate, and that we the people have given and do everything possible to ensure that American people have the best future imaginable for our kids. Now, this was exactly a week ago. I'm not sure if we had gotten to some of the more crazy drops at that point. So, I don't know, pretty cool. He was a little bit ahead of his time, because yeah, shit's. I mean, they've been cutting a lot. I've been pleasantly impressed with all this so far. I mean, obviously, I have issues we talked about a little bit about what's going on in Israel last night. That's rough. So, but that aside, I mean, I just domestically, I really do not have a ton of complaints right now, to be completely honest. Oh, well, fuck, that's great. The UK just announced a program to receive Palestinians. Thank you very much, America. You're welcome very much. You can have them. But no, I'm not surprised that they have programs. And I will say, I would expect a lot of countries in different areas, especially Western countries, to start opening up programs or announcing that they're receiving with open arms Palestinians. And I do think we're probably going to get a little bit more of a push for this. I don't know why I always struggle. Ethnic cleansing or voluntary immigration or what, quote unquote voluntary immigration. And I think there will be some people that move. And there probably will be some focus on it, but I think for the vast majority, they are not going to. But we're going to get a squeeze where I think they're going to try. I think they're going to try in futility to be like, hey, you guys should really go. They're going to try to make it sound as appealing as possible. Probably make all sorts of government programs, in all the Western countries, maybe some of the Middle Eastern countries. They'll probably even have some sort of Israel-U.S. coalition that does something to try to help, quote unquote help. I mean, they'll say they're helping. Meanwhile, fucking Israel will probably still be popping off like, a couple fucking Palestinians a week or a day or whatever. Which, by the way, just today I was listening to Anti-War, and I said last night, I had mentioned this last night, I couldn't remember the number. They're almost to 100. Since the ceasefire, Israel has killed almost 100 people, and that's killed. That's not like we're in the hundreds if you're talking about like injured or hurt. So that's what a ceasefire looks like to Israel. So yeah, saying we have a million of migrants, asylum seekers just last year. England is just a tiny island. We are full as it is. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't agree. I think it's foolish that you guys countries are doing it, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I definitely better yours than mine, but I mean, it kind of is what it is. I mean, I'm not surprised that they are taking in Palestinians. So that was kind of to be expected in this situation. I just think so far as the amount and how that relates to how things play out in Israel, I think it makes no difference aside from, making people like, so what here? his lives a little shittier by bringing in more brown people over to his country that really shouldn't be there. They ideally they were just happy in their own country. Because I don't know, maybe when you drive people into poverty and then you move that poverty-stricken people into another area that they're not familiar with that culture, problems can abound. Yeah, ideally it'd be great if they just stop fucking killing people over there. That's really all we need. But all right, let's get into the next story. This is one I've had saved for a while, but I kept forgetting to look into it. This is Peter Thiel. I always wanted to look into the story of these little boy toy who died. So this is it. I bookmarked this like months ago, or like weeks or months ago, and forgot all about it because I'd been digging into the Thiel and the Ellisons and kind of looking into these people. So this is I found this. So I mean, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know to what degree. But yeah, this goes into, I guess, the death of his little boy toy. So his Peter Thiel linked to model who recently fell to his death in Miami. Report. Now this is from March 24th, 2023 is when this was written. So here we go. Jeff Thomas, the Instagram influencer and model who died after falling from his Miami high-rise building, was a kept man. His benefactor was gay billionaire Peter Thiel, at least according to Thomas, who claimed as much as in an interview conducted before his death. Keep in mind, Peter Thiel is also a Catholic who J.D. Vance attributes with his conversion, despite the supposed seeds being planted like somewhere in the realm of like 5+ years prior to his conversion, and then also happens to coincide when he decides to run is when he actually converts and also gets said money for about millions of dollars for his campaign from Peter Thiel. I mean, the timing is bizarre. I mean, I don't know. I guess it could be all. The whole point is the timing is bizarre. And that this guy's supposed to be a Catholic, and supposed to be a high-level Catholic. I mean, there's implications he may be tied up. He is tied up in the Knights of Malta people. Whether he is a Knight of Malta is questionable. But point being is he kind of looks like part of this new Catholic group taking over, if that makes sense. Like the Knights of Malta, he is part of this blob. And it's just ironic considering his proclivities, to which I don't know. I don't care. I don't know if people want to be gay, but I'm not religious. I'm just saying, I don't know. I understand. I know where Christianity and Catholicism coming from. So I always find it bizarre when you have like a gay or somebody that's really religious and you're like, okay, dude, like, I don't know if you know their thoughts on this in that book, but, I hate to break it to you. Either way, it just makes it seem, I don't know. Anytime I see that, I struggle with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like the verses are pretty clear in there. Thiel, a hard-right Republican and Trump supporter who endorses causes anathema to the LGBTQ community, will speak with the Miami Police Department about their 2-week-old probe into Thomas's death. The model was found dead from an apparent suicide outside his Miami apartment on March 8th. Which, from falling from his high-rise. So, according to a previously unreported interview that Thomas gave The Intercept last November, the model and billionaire had a mutually beneficial relationship. Thiel provided Thomas with expensive cars, homes, and a lifestyle to match in exchange for anything Thiel needed. Okay, I think we know what the anything Thiel needed was. It's not like I was his boyfriend, really. I was just kind of his friend that was there for him when he needed, whatever he needed. Okay, that's a weird way to say gay sex. Including the lavish lifestyle was a $13 million home in the Hollywood Hills and a $300,000 car. Holy shit, dude. Man, I need to sell my butthole, huh? Whoa. Jeez, man, that guy is killing it. The influencer said Thiel and Thomas met at Coachella in 2015 or 2016. Over time, the two became close, and their arrangement developed as their relationship grew in the early days of the COVID pandemic. Damn, dude, this guy got $13 million house and $300,000 for getting banged up by Peter Thiel, by fucking like GQ Frankenstein over here. Yeah, doesn't he look like he'd be like Frankenstein if you did him up for like a GQ shoot? That's what Peter Thiel looks like. Anyways, okay. Let me see. Thomas told the publication that he welcomed the change in scenery when Thiel... I fucking bet. When Thiel provided him with a mansion to live in. Oh my God, this guy told me he really liked it when he got millions and millions of dollars of value in a house. He thought that was pretty cool. What kind of fucking sentence is that? All right, it was that or sitting in his one-bedroom apartment as the world shut down from the spreading virus. Yeah. Thiel and Thomas hosted prolific parties at the Hollywood home. People familiar with the soirees told the outlet. Okay. Thomas said that he tried to dissuade Thiel, a prominent GOP donor, from continuing to support causes that hurt the LGBTQ community. I don't care. As last year due to close, Thomas is preparing to leave. However, Thomas expressed dissatisfaction at being kept, saying, "I don't think it's very satisfying in October. I saw the spark in me fade away. It was toxic and it was unhealthy. And I've had multiple talks with myself this year about getting out of it. And I've actually discussed to him about it. Like, I can't do this anymore. You know, my mental health is at risk." Oh, geez. Okay. So here we go. Now we're getting to juicy stuff. So there were talks of him, saying openly, it sounds like. I don't know who he said this to. It doesn't say here. But, yeah. So he somehow publicly, he's saying in some, I guess publicly or to someone who exposed it publicly, he's making these claims that, he doesn't like the situation. Which I know I will say it's like kind of like, dude, what are you talking about? You got a $13 million home, few $100,000 car. Like, dude, come on. Like, I mean, 2 of your cars equals 1 of my house. Like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know. You get over it. You go sleep with Frankenstein. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I'm just saying that this seems a little fishy. He doesn't like it. I mean, I feel like there's probably more we don't know. I mean, I really struggle to believe that he would have that much of an issue with this setup. So I don't know. He moved away from California to Miami, keeping in touch with Thiel. He attended a New Year's Eve party on Venetian Island, Thiel's Biscayne Bay compound. I'm gonna be honest. If I had to make an assumption, I'm gonna assume that guy was probably like, they were doing some weird shit, and that guy was probably like, I don't know how much I like this, if I had to guess. But I mean, I have nothing to base this off of other than Thiel fucking freaks me out and gives me the heebie-jeebies. And where he's at, he seems like the kind of person who probably wears children's faces and then eats them afterwards or something. That's the feeling I get from that. I could be entirely wrong. On March 8th, he fell to his death. His family has said he died by suicide. At one point, his agent claimed that he might have fallen from the building trying to take a selfie, though that claim has not been substantiated. All right, well, that's a weird thing to say. All right, well, that's a wild one. That's the end of that story. That is, I don't know. All right, that's something. Let's check in the chat, see what you guys think about all this. Let's scroll up. All right. All right, here we go. I wish you guys would have made it to the Pizzagate update. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's right. Well, Austin was supposed to be here today, so he could have brought up. I don't know, maybe he'll be back tomorrow, or maybe he'll show up later. I'm unsure. He said something about maybe showing up in the second half of the thing. Someone says Vance used to be Jewish. No, Vance was a Protestant. I'm not sure what specific branch, like Baptist or what. He was raised Protestant, and the way he framed it, we talked about on the show, so you could go look back. I don't know. You probably type in the search bar on YouTube, No Way Jose and then Vance or something, because I'm pretty sure it was in the title. But a few ago, I'm sure if you look through, you can find it fairly easily. But we dug into that. No, he was Protestant. He was characterized as he essentially was kind of an atheist at the time, like agnostic atheist type. Like he kind of was like the straying away from God. Like wasn't really like he was born Protestant and that's how he's raised, but he was supposedly, when he had this change of heart was in, he was in college and he was kind of in the generic, the amorphous, atheist idea that you think of the secular world essentially. And not that he had some sort of completely, thought out atheistic philosophy in mind, but just more that he was didn't really believe anything at that point. So that's kind of where he was at. So here we go. All right, what's up, Boba Makua? So sins sometimes come with earthly prizes. That is beyond true for this twink. So they're imagine the amount of I own you that buys. That is true, because that is kind of what I'm thinking of. I'm like, this guy being like, I'm not comfortable with this, meanwhile getting the craziest hookup of all fucking time. It makes me wonder, what the fuck is he wanting from you? When he's snuggling up against you and rubbing his nose against your neck, and where is this going next? Are you scared of where this is going next? Is there a reason you jumped, or were you pushed? What is going on here? There's definitely something seems odd here. I mean, I get it. Like, if you're getting pounded out by Peter Thiel, you're probably going to get hooked up. It's probably going to be a cushy life, but this is another level of cushy that's like borderline unimaginable. That you're like, this is, especially considering that most people would just do it just to kind of be around him and make and kind of take in the benefits that being around someone of that caliber has. Because literally all you got, if you were his boyfriend or whatever and you're going out on dates with him, and even if he wasn't explicitly buying you a house, just being around him, the amount of cashing in you can do off of that it would be insane, so I mean, so there's so many, twinks out there that will be smashing Thiel just to be around him. So the idea that he needs someone to, $300 million home and what was a $300,000, or was it 100? I forget the house. 100 million, 300 million? I forget, whatever. Millions of dollars house and then a $300,000 car. Yeah, that is a lot of I own you. And it makes me wonder what is going on here. Something weird. So, I think it's a fair assessment of him. Maybe talk about the face wearing thing. Rich dudes also always have model bitches. Yeah, true, for sure. Someone said he was the pimp. I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, maybe he would. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was slinging his little boy, starfish around, to his other friends. But I really feel like it was, less of that type of relationship, probably. So. I don't know. It's definitely a bizarre situation. All right, let's get into the main story today. This is from our homie Ken Silva. We're gonna get into, kind of get into the truth of this whole Shapiro Trump assassination plot thingamajig. All right, here we go. All right, Ken Silva, headline USA. As much of the world was watching the Super Bowl on Sunday, a wild rumor was spreading online that Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro was involved in July 13th assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Trump learned today a federal whistleblower and former Pennsylvania State Police employee has come forward with information allegedly linking Shapiro with the assassination attempt in Butler. A Facebook post from an account named Pennsylvania Arrest Warrant stated. The Facebook post cited a private criminal complaint which alleged that Shapiro organized, schemed, and conspired with other officials to carry out the attempted assassination. So let's just pause right there, just so you guys know what everyone was freaking out about if you were on Twitter and like all the stupid fucking conservatives that fucking bought the slop, as I characterized it earlier. We're going on about this, and like, oh, look at these Democratic operatives, saying all their stupid Republican slogans. This is what it was. It was a private criminal complaint that was, that essentially just claimed without any sort of, backing of any sort that Shapiro, schemed in this, essentially. That's it so far. So, I mean, we'll get more into it, but it's sounding kind of like even an anonymous, it seems. Well, obviously we'll get more into this. Other documents circling online Sunday included a February 7th criminal complaint filed by someone named Hadassah Feinberg. Really? All right. As well as an August 22nd, 2024 letter from Butler District Attorney Richard Goldfinger, in which he declined to pursue a similar complaint against Shapiro. However, there was no actual evidence presented that linked Shapiro to the July 13th attempt. Nor was there any evidence that DA Goldinger? Oh, I said finger before, my bad. Goldinger. There was no evidence that Goldinger or any other Pennsylvania officials were taking such allegations seriously. All right, here's some tweets of his. Goldinger confirmed in an email to Headline USA that he did receive a criminal complaint against Shapiro, but that he has no evidence of Shapiro's involvement. While I did not know the history of the person making the complaint, I found the allegations to be unbelievable. That being said, with the multiple investigations that were occurring, including by the Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI, I disapproved the complaint, relying on the fact there were multiple investigations underway. I mean, I will say, unless there's more information here that we don't know of, that seems perfectly makes sense to me. He's saying he got one little this is, one counter indicator of all the different investigations. He got some sort of complaint about this. And, assuming there's not other things attached to it that give it any sort of level of credibility, from their perspective, here's somebody somewhere says a thing. That's all you got. Are you really going to add this to the investigation? Maybe file it under, I don't know, look into this if you really hit a roadblock, but some dude somewhere said something is not really that reliable here. I don't know. All right. As of this date, there has been nothing uncovered in the investigation that would even remotely support the allegations in this private criminal complaint. The reason I mention that is because I feel like a lot of people might, especially in our realm, might see this and go, "Oh, it looks like a cover-up," because it's like, oh, they're like, "Oh, this was a complaint that was never followed up on." You're like, okay, but like, it was a complaint that was never followed up on, but like, was there anything that gave this any level of credibility whatsoever? No. Then like, I don't know. Do you really want to? Are you saying that you want law enforcement to be a situation where you can just send them on goose chases all the fucking time? Because that's kind of what this sounds like it would be. Not saying they shouldn't like register that that's a thing and, maybe like put in their head or maybe put it somewhere in some sort of file somewhere of like, hey, this is the thing, but like obviously not very valuable information. It still looks like not very valuable information. Goldinger further explained that private citizens file criminal complaints frequently, and that their allegations are mostly retaliatory, false, or unsubstantiated and unprovable. Usually he still has a detective conduct an initial investigation to see if the complaint has merit. But in the case of Butler Trump shooting, he said he declined to do so because the matter was already under investigation by multiple agencies. Generally, when I receive one, I have a county detective conduct some initial investigation to determine if there's any merit. I am always of the opinion that the police do not file charges, or if the individual filing the private criminal complaint has not reached out to the police, that the allegations are questionable at best, he said. Headline USA also contacted Feinberg, the person named on the February 7th criminal complaint against Shapiro. Feinberg identifies herself as someone with PTSD who's living on Social Security benefits. Feinberg has represented herself in several lawsuits alleging a wide-ranging conspiracy against her and her 4 children. One complaint, which was dismissed last October because she didn't pay her filing fee, accused Shapiro of failing his duties as governor to protect and intervene with plaintiff and her 4 minor children who were being harassed between October 18th, 2003 through 2023. I think there's a typo there. If you're watching, Ken, you got a typo. Through June 4th, 2024. In response to an email from this reporter, Feinberg stated the following: "Thank you for reaching out. I can confirm that this is a valid criminal complaint. Due to pending and active litigation at the Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court docket, Feinberg et al. V. Evans et al. 402 MD 2024. A lot of the information must remain confidential so it does not compromise the lawsuit." Okay, so, now to add information, now we know who this person is, and we also know that, hey, we can't see any more of the information. So if there is anything to this complaint that has anything backing up, we're not even able to see it because it's involved in some sort of lawsuit. At least that's her claim. So it's, on one hand, it's like, oh, that's kind of convenient. On the other hand, even if it's true, it's like, okay, well, there's nothing we can do with this right now. This is a useless information. So yeah, and obviously, I know she could be completely telling the truth, but this is, once again, don't run with things until you look into it, because you might look fucking stupid. And here's an example of it. And once again, this could end up being true. This lady could be 100% on the target. She could be on to something, and maybe if we were able to hear more about what's going on in that lawsuit, we'd be like, holy shit, but we can't. So this is what we got right now, and the only reasonable, action at this point is to completely toss out this information as they did initially. So, all right, let's pop back into the chat, see what you guys have to say. Let me see. Someone's saying, I wish it would snow in Florida. Oh, we're past that now. Let me see. Let me see. Pee-hole crushing. Ken was on this like a rabid dog. Yes, he was. Like immediately, he's like, yeah. Which, I get it. He was right. He should be on it like a rabid dog. Like, what are you saying? All right, give me a fucking source. New McVeigh movie just released a trailer. Well, that's cool. Well, if somebody sees that, tag me in it. And I didn't hear about anything coming out like that, so that's surprising. I wonder if it'll be complete and utter trash. It probably will be, because I mean, even trying to actually do a biopic on McVeigh would be, even if you were somebody like, say, like a Wendy Painting trying to do it, it'd probably be pretty hard because it's like there's a lot of spots where like, I don't know if we agree on this, or like there's a lot of mystery. So, and the chances they're getting it right is not very likely. So, all right, every single Stein Timowitz, every Berg single Stein Timowitz. Yeah, I know that's what it definitely feels like reading that story for sure. All right, here's another one I thought was funny that we'd share with you guys before we get out of here. This is from Politico. They just wrote this article recently. It says the voters were right about the economy. The data was wrong. Here's why unemployment is higher, wages are lower, and growth less robust than government statistics suggest. Obviously, Politico is a little bit more of a left rag. So, I mean, this does feel like, oh wow, how convenient! Now this is shifting. We're gonna go into this a little bit more. It's kind of interesting how they frame this as well, because remember, a lot of people may recall that during the Biden/Kamala run, it was very much there's nothing wrong with the economy. You rubes just don't understand economics. Like you got to look at the numbers. Like I know you're saying you think things. That's just because people are telling you things are worse. Like you just think things are worse. They're not worse. Or it's actually, this is a lot better than it was. I don't think you realize, prices are higher, but wages are up, or something, or we're going to show you some sort of stat that somehow supports something. Don't trust your eyes, don't trust your feelings, don't trust what you're seeing. You don't know what you're talking about. And then, no, the economy is doing great. No, that was apparently, now they're backing off that, is what it looks like. So here's an excerpt from it. It says, these numbers have time and time again suggested too many in Washington that unemployment is low, that wages are growing for middle America, and that to a greater or lesser degree, economic growth is lifting all boats year upon year. The numbers have time and time again. All right. But when traveling the country, I've encountered that something very different. Cities that appear increasingly seedy, regions that seem derelict. Driving to the office each day in Washington, D.C., I noted a homeless encampment fixed outside the Federal Reserve itself, and then I began to detect a second pattern inside and outside D.C. alike. Democrats on the whole seem much more inclined to believe what the economic indicators reported. Once again, they're so... I mean, I kind of missed this on the initial one, but they're framing it as the numbers are wrong. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, this is when people say, like, oh, in theory, that's great. And I get what people mean when they say that, but that's actually like kind of a retarded thing to say if you really think about it, because you need to understand what theory is. Theory is, an idea that is supposed to comport to reality. So if you say in theory it's great, then no, it's not great in theory. If it's not comporting to reality, it is not a great theory. So if you say it's great in theory, but not in reality, then no, that's just a dumb thing to say, because you were literally describing... Like you're saying, like, I didn't steal from you. I just took money from you. Like, okay. Like, that's the same thing. But yeah, that is anyways, yeah, the idea that like, oh, the numbers are wrong. Like, no, you guys aren't good at. It's not that it's not the economic indicators reported. It's the people you were listening to that are reporting on it, and then you looking at specific things. It's you not understanding economics. This is really what it comes down to, and you relying on faulty people to give you your information. Like, your shit's all fucked up, basically. Like, you need to get your shit together, and you listen to retards. And you don't understand things. That's really what it comes down to. And this is a group of people who like to act like they're smarter than everyone else, when meanwhile they're listening to idiots and they don't know what they're talking about. So, and it's not to say the Republicans do either. I mean, this is kind of this is that bell curve, that meme you see where you see like the people on one side and like the retards on one side, and then you see the geniuses on the other side, and then you have the midwits in the middle. Like this is what this is. You have the retards and the geniuses, like the real geniuses that can go, no, this economy's fucked. Like because the retards, like they're just living life. Like they are out there in the world. They're just interacting with life, and they're not encumbered by these stats that so and so said this. So no, they're just living life, and they're going to the grocery store and they're going, this feels harder. That's all it is, and they're not wrong. And then whereas the geniuses, like they'll analyze the numbers, and they're also living in the real world. Then you have the midwits who do this shit, and then they just have to overthink. They have to overthink all this. They get all they're like I said, they think they're superior than everyone else. Meanwhile, they're listening to people that are lying to them or are stupid. Meanwhile, they don't really know what they're talking about. So then you're surprised when you're like, oh my God, look at this. It was the numbers that are wrong. No, that's not how that works. Like, if it's like, if you're like, well, 2 + 2, you're telling me equals 4, but I swore it was 5. I think the numbers are wrong. Like, no, that's not how numbers work. Like, you're wrong. So, all right. All right, then it says here's another excerpt for it. In an age where faith in institutions of all sorts is in free fall, Americans are perpetually told, per classic quote from former Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, that while we are entitled to our own opinions, we aren't entitled to our own facts. That should be right, at least in the realm of economics. It is. But the reality is that if the prevailing indicators remain misleading, the facts don't apply. We have in our grasp to cut through the mirage that led Democrats astray in 2024. The question now is whether we will correct course. This is just next level retarded and cope to a degree where it's like, guys, reality was wrong. And by that I mean, like, we were told all these things about reality and that we were wrong, and it's not our fault that we were wrong, because that was wrong. It's such a level of like nonsensical that I don't even know how to explain it, because it's like literally like when you get into a why with the kids and they go why, and you get 6 whys deep, and you're just like, because some things are and some things aren't, and you can't have a thing that is not be, because then it would be. Like, that's where we are in this level of cope. It's fucking retarded. All right, let's pop into the chat. Your Doctor says Midwintery at its best. Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. It's literally appeal to authority while saying you're not the expert. Jameis says the data that previously identified as accurate has now identified itself as inaccurate. We respect his decision. Exactly. It's, translation. Economy sucks because your money is bullshit. Exactly. Arcane saying, I kept hearing time and time again that inflation wasn't that big a deal and the stats were right and people were wrong. Yes. So now we have the cope coming in now. So I don't know. It's frustrating to even talk about, because it's just like, it really is just like when someone just says something next level retarded, like literally that 2 + 2 = 5 example is really kind of what we're talking about here. I mean, I guess it's kind of also the example of like when somebody says not in theory is kind of a good example too. And you're like, okay, well then you need to rethink your theory. Your theory is wrong. Something else is going wrong on your side things. All right, guys, let's see. Let's do the last. I got one more thing for you guys for today. I wanted to kind of go through some of the updates because I realized I'd slipped and I'd just forgotten to look into it. So there's a few new things from Andy here. We'll pick up. Last we kind of talked about the one lesser known Surrey DAO. But so here we go. Here's more from Andy No. On February 5th, dozens of agents and local law enforcement swarmed a quiet neighborhood and nearby forested area in Chatham County, North Carolina for a secretive mission. I can exclusively confirm the agents were in the Chapel Hill area as part of their belated investigation into the Ziz trans terror cell. As I exclusively reported before, Jack Ziz Lasada lived here for many months with the Vermont trans duo Felix Ophelia Bacall and Teresa Milo Youngblood and others. All right, so this is February 6th. This was 6 days ago. So they're saying this happened on February 5th. It looks like, for those who have not, I would recommend people go check out, because I'm not going to hold your hands through all of this. You can go check out Andy No's thread. You can go check out my previous coverage, which is mostly just on his thread and other articles. It looks like they're looking for this Jack fella because this guy faked his death a while ago. We're making all sorts of connections. We're multiple murders. That seems like this guy's at the tippy top of it. So there clearly some sort of manhunt seems to be underway, is what this looks like to me. Here's some photos of it. You can see of them looking for him. Here's Andy saying, I have obtained an exclusive image of the Chapel Hill, North Carolina area property that the Ziz trans terror cult stayed at for many months while they prepared to relocate to rural Vermont to build an autonomous zone commune away from the eyes of law enforcement following several serial killings. Jack Ziz Lasota, member of the trans murder gang, also lived at this property I can exclusively report, as did several other members of the group. The image shows a box truck where members of the cult did secretive actions inside to prepare for living off the grid. The group also lived out of box trucks at the prior autonomous zone commune in Vallejo, California, where they carried out brutal and deadly attacks. I think that's where they killed the Lind guy, the L guy. Well, they attempted to kill him, and then later they did come back to kill him when he was getting ready to testify against them. But This Chatham County, North Carolina image taken last year also shows the Prius hatchback that Felix Ophelia Bachholt and Teresa Youngblood were later stopped in before killing the U.S. Border Patrol agent on January 20th. On February 5th, dozens of FBI agents finally raided the neighborhood and wooded area as part of their belated investigation of trans cult. So it looks like people like Andy Ngo, us, like they're talking about this, kind of ginning up information. It looks like this is some shit's happening. So that's good. Looks like we're making some moves here. Here we go. Ziz trans terror member Teresa Milo Consuelo Youngblood was indicted by a federal grand jury on February 6th on felony charges of 1, using a deadly weapon and interfering with a federal employee, and 2, using a firearm to commit a violent crime. So it's update on this is a broad who allegedly shot and killed, because I guess it's probably, you could say it's up in the air which one of the two. Her compatriot with her died. So, I mean, obviously you could probably make a claim. Maybe she did. I want to say they think Teresa, the one who's alive, I believe, did it. So they've charged her. So now she was indicted. Youngblood has a court hearing on February 7th. Her family from Seattle flew out to Burlington to support her. She comes from a well-to-do background and was educated at Seattle's elite top private school, which it seemed to be a distinct component about this story, is these are weird, kind of almost like yuppie to elite to like techie, vegan, like these are the coddled, like, faggot theater kids of rich people is basically what these are. These are people that seem to have tried to come together to form some sort of philosophy in the absence of one, and have created some sort of weird, dark thing going on here. So, I mean, this is the progressive era run amok, kind of, essentially. Because, I mean, while you guys know I'm not religious, but it's like, between this like idea of like, subverting nature and like, endorsing all this like trans stuff, and not believing in, established belief systems and kind of creating your own. This can kind of, when you kind of put these things in together and throw them in a blender and let it grow, I don't know, you get some dark shit. And then obviously I do think if we followed this along lines, there's probably some dark, what I'm looking for, dark mechanisms of control, some puppet strings possibly of some sort in there, maybe, just given the entities that we followed through, like the philosophy on previous talks, and kind of where it glows a little bit, and kind of the characters that this seems to derive from. So anyways, that aside, here's some more. Before building a box truck anonymous zone commune in Vallejo, in 2020, the trans terror cell lived on a boat around San Mateo. Trans cult leader Jack, or Ziz or whatever, ran the operation with member Jasper Gwen Danielson. They recruited trans people to join and had a goal of building multiple autonomous trans communes as part of their leftist anarchist praxis. I have found previously unseen images of Lasota and Danielson from their time on the boat. The image shows Lasota in the robe outfit that he wore as leader of the cult. The group abandoned the boat as their membership grew, leaving the public in San Mateo with a bill of nearly $100,000 to clean the hazardous junk inside and tow the sinking boat. Removing and discarding the boat from the dock will cost them about $2 million. Both Lasota and Danielson faked their deaths in the summer of 2022. Police saw them in November 2022 when their comrades attempted to murder their elderly landlord in Vallejo. He was later assassinated successfully in January 2025. The group attempted to start a new autonomous zone in rural Vermont when 2 of their members allegedly killed the U.S. Border Patrol agent last month. Lasota and Danielson remains at large. Okay, it looks like that. I guess they're implying that was when the Border Patrol thing happened, they were trying to set it up. So here's some more photos of Ziz in his weird little robes, I guess, while they're on the boat. Creepy. Here's the boat itself. Oh, geez. That was kind of a big-ass boat, huh? All right. I can see why this caused a big old fucking problem. All right, here we go. More on the boat. Yeah, and there's the other person, Gwen, Jasper Danielson. So, oopsies. Let me scroll back down. Maximilian Bentley Adair Snyder, the Oxford University-educated computer scientist, accused of being a Ziz trans terror member who murdered an 82-year-old witness against a group. Yeah, this is a guy who came back later to off the 82-year-old. He didn't do it the initial time, but he came back later. He released a long manifesto statement to the San Francisco Chronicle during a phone interview. In the statement addressed to AI researcher Eliezer Yudkowsky, Snyder says he will inherit several $100,000 from a trust fund. He describes animals as his siblings and explains why he's a vegan. The trans terror cult believes in veganism. He denies being a friend of Jack Lizotta. Okay, all right, well, that's something that's kind of interesting. Although that could just be for legal reasons. The lawyer could have said, hey, just say that. I can report that Snyder comes from a well-to-do family and grew up in the wealthy Houghton neighborhood of Kirkland, Washington, near Seattle. He attended the elite private Lakeside School, once again, another private kid, or another elite kid, along with his now wife and fellow Ziz trans member, Teresa Milo Youngblood. Youngblood is in federal custody in Vermont for the shooting death of the Border Patrol agent. So this troon married the other one. So the one that is, allegedly killed the Border Patrol agent. Sorry, let's read some of this guy's, his a manifesto statement. So it says, first, I am not one of Ziz's friends, and neither she nor her friends endorse me or my words so far as I know. I speak only for myself, as myself, for the sake of anyone, or everyone. This I swear on my laws. With that out of the way, Eliezer, you need to have a crisis of faith about whether animals are people. It is critical to saving the world. I am one of your students, and I am desperately trying to reach out to you, not to ask for your help, but because it's the best gamble I can think of to increase the chance that this world survives with what little power I've left. So please read this all the way through. Is your duty as a rationalist and the least you can do for me? Okay, I want to know who the fuck this Eliezer is. Okay, or addressed to AI researcher. Okay, yeah, he said that in the thing. AI researcher Eliezer Yudkowsky. Okay, so this is an appeal to some AI researcher. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okie doke. All right, let's keep going. I am not in a position to make bets easily, but I am more than willing to bet what I can. There are around $6,000 left in my checking account. Keep in mind, I'm just reading it, so that awful grammar is on him. I don't yet know, and when I would be able to get it to you, but I am willing to bet it without hesitation. Okay, so he's trying to bet $6,000 to this Eliezer guy. In about 2 years and 3 months, I'm supposed to receive a portion of a trust, which should amount to about $200,000 minus half of my legal fees from up until then. I am willing to bet whatever is left of it also, and I am not attached to the legal fees either compared to this. All this I am willing to bet against only the expected good that would come of you having the crisis of faith on the claim that you will not regret spending at least 24 hours of it. I wish I could bet more, simply incredibly, but a lot. What the fuck does that even mean? All this I am willing to bet against only the expected good that would come of you having the crisis of faith on the claim that you will not regret spending at least... This is like some weird Kamala shit. Like, I can't even understand. I mean, hey, maybe this thumbnail was more prescient than I thought. What the fuck does that even mean? They will not regret spending at least 24 hours on it. So he wants to bet... I'm willing to bet against the expected good that would come of you having a crisis. This makes no fucking sense to me. If anyone can translate what the fuck that last sentence means, or the sentence before last, that'd be awesome. I have no idea what the hell that means. That is, I don't know. He's saying I'm willing to bet, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That I think maybe he's trying to express that good would come of him spending time thinking about this, that he didn't even say. I don't know. This is beyond confusing. But I guess these are, incomprehensible people, borderline. This is what part of what makes this such an interesting story. Like, what is going on here? Like, what is going on with these people's heads? All right. In 2022, a high school graduation photo of Ziz trans terror cult member Teresa Milo Consuelo, now this is the one that's married to the Maximilian fellow that we just read about, has been found and released Previously, only one clear photo of her face was seen. In the days leading up to her deadly encounter with a Border Patrol agent, she was always masked. She attended the elite and woke Lakeside School in Seattle. Okay, so there's multiple Lakeside School people, it seems like. Isn't that where they just said that this guy said that he went to Lakeside? There was another one that went to elite school. Was that Lakeside as well? Because that would be interesting. Let me see. Okay, because I think we talked about Ziz. Let me see. I swear we talked about one of these other people living in some sort of... oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. I swore we saw something about Ziz living... Okay, whatever. It looks like Maximilian and then Teresa, they both went to the same school in Seattle. Oh shit, where did that just go? Here we go. Sorry, that got away from me. So they both attended it, as did her husband. A murder suspect says she was federally indicted last week after the shooting when trans terror cult Jack Ziz was arrested in Delaware County, Pennsylvania in January 2023 in connection to a still unsolved double homicide investigation of an elderly couple. He pretended to be dead. The sheriff's office had to hold him up for the mugshot. What? Oh my God, this dude literally played dead. Whoa. That's wild. He literally pretended to be dead. And I don't mean it like, okay, I know we mentioned before that he faked his death. I mean, literally, he was arrested in Delaware and then he pretended to, I don't know if that means he got out and pretended to be dead because they said they had to hold him up for the mugshot. So I thought that meant like he got out on bail or something and then somehow he skipped and then they're like, oh, did something to make it look like some sort of accident? No, that doesn't make sense to me, how that would even be possible. Oh man, someone needs to dig into that specifically. You can even see the photo, like, of him right here, them holding him up. All right, what the fuck? 5 months earlier, Lesota pretended to have died in a boating accident in California. So I wonder if that it wasn't successful here. Like if he tried to in this situation, if he tried to play dead and wasn't successful. What the fuck? Okay. Let's get back into this. He pretended to have died in a boating accident 5 months earlier. He skipped out in court, Solano County, California. His friends or family made a fake obituary for him online. His friends told the court his son died. Yeah, okay. Well, so I've seen that before, fake obituaries. What was it? The Kekawa Fed thing we covered forever ago. A judge in Pennsylvania lowered Lesota's $500,000 bail to just $10,000 after his arrest. Another bizarre part of this. He bailed out and then promptly disappeared. 2 more people then killed, allegedly by members of his group. Lesota still remains at large today. Here's more photos of exclusive. I've obtained the first known video revealing the voice of Ziz. In 2013, at 22 years old, he interned for NASA, developing space weather visualization software. He had just graduated from the University of Alaska Fairbanks, where he studied computer programming. Around 2017, he started gang members for his trans group and began wearing black robes. He used the name Andrea Phelps and identifies as she, her. He faked his death in 2022 and is a person of interest in multiple homicides. He's accused of influencing or directing the trans comrades to kill people. He remains at large after a Delaware judge lowered his $500,000 bail to $10,000 in 2023, like we just talked about. As reported here, he was last seen living with Felix Ophelia Bacall and Teresa Mila Youngblood in North Carolina, which those are the 2 that attacked the border patrol agents. So that's interesting. They're the last people he was seen with, and then the next thing that we know, they kill a border agent. So all right, let's play this just so you guys can hear his voice. You never know. Who knows? Maybe you guys will see this guy. This guy is. If you guys see this guy out, this dude is he's on the lam. So I'm not one to like about narking or telling the police, but narc on this dude. Narc on him big time. So but let's go play this.
My name is Jack Lesota. I just graduated with a BS in computer engineering from the University of Alaska Fairbanks. This fall, I'm going to be a grad student at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. I am working this summer on a software tool that I started last summer. It's used to perform stereoscopic calculations on coronagraphs from the spacecraft Stereo and SOHO, which are used to measure coronal mass ejection trajectories and predict space weather. My name is Jack.
All right. Well, that's him. I mean, not really anything to be brought out from there, but just whatever, if you guys hear him, you see him, hear something, say something. So here's another with him. He's revealed to have interned for NASA in 2013, worked on space. Okay, we already said that. He started his radicalization writings as Ziz in 2016. In 2017 is the first time he is known to have established a commune. He radicalized and recruited trans members for the next 5 years, and the first known deadly attack occurred in 2022. He has several warrants for his arrest. All right, we already talked about that. So here's more photos of him, before him became a shim. So just kind of looks like a, gruffy nerd dude. I don't know. Seems like an all right guy at that time. Here is the last we got on this. So here's the most up to date, and then we'll get out of here. So more photos of Ziz. He was at a leftist protest against Google in November 2018 in Mountain View, California. One of the members of his group is ex-Google employee Amir Emma Borhanian, who died in the course of carrying out an assassination attempt on an elderly armed man in 2022. Now, this is the one we've referenced multiple times. The old guy, this was when they first attempted to kill him. He actually woke up when they were trying to cut his head off, came to, and I don't know how he got a hold of a gun, whether he had one on his person and they just didn't disarm him, or there was one nearby. But then he managed to defend himself and killed one of the individuals. The other one, I think, got away. And then, they came back later, and the Maximilian dude we talked about and ended up being the one who killed them. That was when he was getting ready to testify against the cult. So yeah, that's that. Here's a newer photo of him. So, see something, say something, that kind of nerdy shit. But yeah, for real, definitely mean it in this time. Oops, I didn't mean to leave that comment up the whole time. I'm sorry. Obviously, So What said, "Oh my God, I'm so confused. Any documentaries about the case online?" You and me both, brother. It is confusing as fuck. Honestly, not really a lot to put together. That's part of why I've been covering it so much. I know it seems incomprehensible and all over the place. That's because it kind of is. And it's very much, on the ground, new information coming out. That's why I keep giving you guys these updates. Hell, it took a couple articles of reading it on the show before it even really clicked for me. Pirate says, "What are you saying?" I don't know. Zits. I can't understand what you're saying. Are you saying zits? They do not sound like real words. Sorry. That's probably my lispiness getting in the way. But that's Ziz, Z-I-Z, Zizians. They call him Ziz, and the cult is Zizians. So, but yeah, it's silly. Someone says, "Smell MK Ultra." Yes, that is the really interesting thing about it. I mean, there seem to be, I need to dig into this again at some point when it comes to the ideology and kind of map this stuff better. But it really does feel like this, if you follow the philosophy as opposed, and kind of the money probably, but as opposed to the money side of things, follow the philosophy or the faux philosophy of it or whatever. It feels like it looks like it might be connected to some of the Altman, like, I forget what the groups they had. There was like Luigi Mangione, that like weird group he went to, was it years before or whatever? In Hawaii, I think, there was some sort of intentional, like, living community. I forget what the fuck it was called. God, I'll think of it later. It's like it's some sort of, all the fucking the tech billionaires or say they're part of this like type of effective altruism. That's what I was looking for. It's like this weird effective altruism, which sounds cool on its head. You're like, altruism, good things and being effective about it, great. And then when you look into it, you're like, it seems to be, connected to some weird tech types, and then there seems to be offshoots. I don't know. I don't know the fuck's going on there, but my point being is this is an area, that is just waiting for investigators or researchers to start digging into it. So I'm saying it's not my pronunciation. Yeah, the words don't make sense. That's for sure. These troons are loony as fuck, Doctori says. But yeah, on the confusion side, check out my prior stories or just go read what did I say? It was Andy No, I think. Yeah, Andy No is who I was just reading. I mean, he's got a good thread on it. You probably can find it. That's probably the best reporting you're going to find on it out there. So, yeah. All right, let's something about the black robes reminding me of the Protestant church, perhaps. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there was connections there. But all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I appreciate everyone who joined me today. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It helps out a lot. If you are watching this, make sure to go leave a like. If you're listening to this, go leave a 5-star review. Helps out big time. But yeah, if you want to support what I'm doing, you can do that at patreon.com/nowayjose2020. The lowest level is $2. That's where you get the early access to the episodes, like the weekly episodes I do. Like I said, I might try to see if maybe I can knock out some bonus ones this weekend, but I do have I got another Vegas episode this weekend, so we already have the next one for the week set up, but I might try to get a bonus one or here or there. So if you're a patron, you'll get those early. But yeah, so usually about one episode a week or so, maybe more. You'll get that about a week early. And then also you get to be a talking head on the call-in portion of me and Austin's weekly Already Dead show. That's at 9:30 Eastern on Tuesdays. The second half of the show, we do call-ins. And so if you, as a paying perk, you can come in on that. Also, you can get the ad-free RSS feed at my Patreon. There's a link there. You can drop in your podcatcher, and it'll give you an ad-free RSS feed of all the shit I do. The highest level is my sponsors. I read them off every episode. My co-host in Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad. Also at Abrigadiz, at ZOVRCK, at _Infinite Zeal. Tim Tuttle, at Jolly on Klebold. Then Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine. Then a big fan of the show, Torrin May. Then at INWARD Lover, because we all should learn to look inward and learn to love ourselves. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment. Follow me on Twitter, at Tower Gang Jose. That's probably one of the best ways. If there's stuff you want me to cover in the show, tag me in it. And then like it's a thread, article, video, whatever. That's probably one of the better ways to do it, or DMs or whatever. So everyone's saying later, peace, bye-bye, see you guys, bye-bye. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. They have a center. Oxford seems to have connections to MI5 and MI6, Dr. Roy says, on the effect of altruism. Oh shit, yeah. Our leaders are all our cult. Yes. So here we go. And then we see, oh shit, Slow Exploder says, I think the transhumanist Jew Eliezer Yudkowsky. What makes you think he's Jewish? I know that's quite the assumption there. No, I'm just kidding. I was big on promoting effective altruism back in the day. Okay. There might be something to that. Crowley was MI6. Yep. Have a good one, everybody. Salute in the chat. All right, guys, we're out of here. Love y'all. Deuces. Be back here tomorrow. We're going to be here tomorrow, or I am at least. Pop in same time, 10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah. I also got Tower Gang tonight. So show out. But I'll see y'all. Bye-bye. Deuces.